What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today, I'm really excited to bring you my review of the Kubey KU321, aka the Kubey Royal. The Kubey has a 2.99 inch D2 steel blade with a 4.29 inch G10 handles. Overall length is 7.28 inches and coming in at a claimed 3.32 ounces. Let's go ahead and check that weight out real quick. So 3.3, so it's probably really close to that 3.32 ounce range. So really close to the advertised weight. That's always really nice. This one here has the fuller so that you can reverse flick. If you can find the right hand position and you have the right hand size, you can thumb flick it, but it's a little bit awkward. And the action on bearings is really snappy and really smooth. The the front flipper works really well. It does have the right type of jimping, but it doesn't go all the way over like I like. And I think that might be because of the stop pin, but you still could go one or two over. Works really well though. It does have that really nice utilitarian sheep's foot blade that you can really get down on without having to come up really high on that cutting surface. Really do like that a lot. I like the overall shape, and they give you a little bit of variety with a couple of different color combinations. And the pocket clip is reversible. It is not inset, but it does have the flat screws, and you don't really notice that it's there. I also like the fact that they did go ahead and mill out on the show side, but not on the non-show side, except for this one little spot way back here. So that does help with the weight, keeping the weight down. I think their Jade and their G10 are really well done. It has a little bit of contouring that's kind of hard to see there from afar. And the texturing is nice where you have grip, but it's not going to saw away at your pocket when you pull it in and out. And the contact point is minimal, but it does stay pretty secure inside of the pocket. Also really like that KB in the pivot. It's really nice. It reminds me a lot of how Civivi does theirs, but it's not as noticeable because it doesn't have the two-tone to it. So it's really subtle. I like that a lot. So really impressed with this knife to start. That's my only complaint. If you have big hands, it's a little hard to get down in there. You got to kind of squeeze down in here, and you got to use the outer part of the ball to kind of get enough meat in there to be able to deploy it. But man, the reverse flick, sorry, I lost my grip on the pocket clip, but you gotta, comes down sharp, so I have to come down further to be able to really deploy that out. So I found that if you come in tighter and you put your fingernail, that really works a lot better for me. Of course, you could always just use the index finger to reverse flick it too. Really nice action, just really good. Let me go ahead and run the comparison knives, and then we'll talk about some comparables. First up on the comparison knives is going to be the Yojimbo 2. This one here has a 3.125 inch S20V blade with 4.5 inch G10 scales. Overall length of the Yojimbo 2, 7.5 inches, so a little bit longer. Yeah, just a little bit longer, I'll say a little bit. 4 ounces for the weight of the Yojimbo 2. And the other comparison knife from Spyderco that I like to do, very popular knife, is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. This has a 3.44 inch S45EN blade with 4.81 inch G10 handles from Flytanium. Overall length is 8.25 inches and coming in at 3.75 inches. So this one here is smaller than both, but still offering really good four-finger grip and has a really nice EDC profile for the pocket. So this is something that you can carry every day, use every day, and it's going to work well for you without taking up a lot of real estate. Let me go ahead and bring out the crossbar lock knives that I like to use. First up is going to be a knife that I think is going to compare pretty well to this, a little bit bigger still, but pretty well. That's going to be my Benchmade Bug Out. This one has a 3.24 inch S30V blade steel, 4.22 inch Flytanium G10 handles, and coming in with an overall length of 7.46 inches and a very lightweight 2.3 ounces. So you can see this is really close profile wise in size, while the Kubey Royal is just a tad bit smaller. Now let's go ahead and bring out the SIG K320 made by Hogue. Has a 3.5 inch S30V blade, has 4.5 inch polymer handles with an overall length of 8 inches and coming in at 4.16 ounces. So again, you can tell the Kubey is just smaller than both of these knives by a large margin, having a similar profile to the bug out, but being much smaller in size and profile to the SIG. Let's go ahead and bring out the old comparison knife that I used to do in the budget realm before this Kubey took over its slot, and that's going to be the Civivi Elementum, which has a 2.96 inch D2 steel versus the 2.99 inch D2 steel on the Kubey. You can see as you're looking at these why I feel like these compare very well. And I'll talk about why the Kubey took over the comparison knife slot of the Elementum here in just a moment. 4.03 inch micarta handles on the Elementum versus the Kubey having 4.29 inch handles. So you can see just a little bit more length and handle on the Kubey than the Elementum, ever so slightly. I'm trying to bring them a little bit closer so you can really see. Overall length of the Elementum is 6.99 inches, and the overall length of the Kubey is 7.28 inches. The Elementum coming in at 2.89 ounces, and the Kubey is coming in at 3, as you saw earlier, 3 ounces. So really close in comparison, these two. And this is, to me, where the KU321 really is targeting, is that Elementum size, very general EDC, neutral handle type knife that you can just carry and not really have to worry about doing a whole lot with it. It's just for basic cutting purposes. You just like to carry a pocket knife, and you're really going to be using it super hard. The last knife that I want to do in the comparison is the Elementum button lock. This has a 3.47 inch 14C28 blade steel, 4.53 inch micarta handles. Overall length is 8 inches and coming in at 3.19 ounces. So a very lightweight comparison. Let's run the profiles really quick here, and I'm going to leave that Elementum out here because I want to come back to that. You can see here that the Kubey is just a little bit thicker than the button lock. Here it is against the bug out. You can see just bug out's a much thinner knife. It's going to be really close to the K320 on the butt side, but on the head side you can see it's bigger, but on the butt side you can see a little bit closer, just a little bit thicker there. You can tell on the Yojimbo 2 is going to be a little bit thinner. This also represents the pair of 3. These are both the same thickness. With the Flatanium scales, you can see that they are actually really close to PM2, but with the standard scales, PM2 is going to be a little bit thinner. So again, just really quick, wanted to throw out the comparison. This is definitely the best comparison knife that I have in my repertoire. Everything else is just a little bit longer. I thought about the Scoria, which is also thinner, but the Scoria is a little bit longer on the blade length, coming in at 3.5 inches, but similar handle length. So that's really all I wanted to throw out as far as the comparisons. My final thoughts on this knife is this is a really good alternative to the bug out. You're getting ceramic bearings in both. You're getting a sub 3-inch blade on both. You get a little bit more handle, which I like if you have bigger hands, because the Elementum, while it still does fit the full hand, it does leave a little bit of the pinky hanging off in the normal position. You're getting a hollow grind on the Elementum, which is really slicey, but you're getting a flat grind that's really thin behind the edge on the Kubey. So both of these are going to slice very well and cut very well. I think you get a little bit more of a fidget factor with the Kubey because you do get this deployment method here with this thumb hole. I don't know what else to call it. A little bit awkward for the thumb, but again, from a fidget factor, I think the reverse flick is a little bit more interesting, and I also think that the front flipper works really well. I like the contouring on the Kubey KU321 better than I like the flat scales on the Elementum. You can see it's hard to tell until you look them dead on, but you can see that contouring, that slight contouring there. That's really nice. Both knives are really well done, but again, under 50, slightly over 50. You do get micarta, but the G10 looks really good on the Kubey KU321, and the G10 is super well done, textured, and it has a little bit of contouring. I really do like that. Both of them do have, do have the hole for the lanyard, but I'm not really looking for that on this knife because it has enough handle for me. I don't really need that unless you're into it from a decorative perspective. Overall, highly recommendable knife. It is going to be replacing the Elementum in my normal comparison knives, so it must have made quite the impression on me for it to be able to do that. I love the sheepfoot design. I think that's a better utility style blade for an EDC knife. It's much more versatile. It does have that strength out on the tip, but when you go through your draw cuts, you're not going to have to get up as high as you do on a drop point typically. So this is a really good EDC blade shape. That is my review of the KU321. Very awesome knife, very awesome price. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like for me, guys. I really appreciate all of you that are supporting me on the channel. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Until next time, peace. The SIG K320. Whoa. The SIG the other knife that I want to do, the last knife, 14C28 blade steel. On this knife is this is a really good alternative to the bug out. I love the sheepfoot design. I think